So let's bring in Ben Ferguson, host of the Ben Ferguson podcast and co-host of the Verdict podcast with Senator Ted Cruz, and Megan Hayes, Democratic strategist and former director of message planning for President Biden. Great to have both of you with us. Megan, let me start with you. Your reaction to this chilling group of flyers that were up on the walls at Georgetown.
I mean, I can't believe we're here again. Like, what is it going to take for people? This violent rhetoric, it's disgusting. It shouldn't happen. It's my understanding that the university acted quickly and is doing an investigation and did not have any sort of tolerance for this, which is the exact right reaction to have. So, I mean, I just don't know when people are going to learn. Like, this is not the way we talk to people. We should have conversations. We may not agree on anything, and we are just chatting about music out in the green room. It's just that's just. People just take a step back, take a deep breath. Like, it's not worth life or death here. This is take a deep breath.
I actually want to play number one in the control room. This is from the podcast that I just did with Andy Ngo, who has gone undercover with Antifa groups. He knows a lot about what's going on online with these newly sprouting up organizations. Here's what he said in soundbite number one.
They claim to be anti-fascist. They claim to have this long history opposing fascism and Nazis. And all of that is to make their goals seem noble. How their organizing manifests on the ground is through brute force thuggery, violence, arson attacks, attacks on government buildings, institutions, and maimings of victims, and sometimes even killing people.
So we know that President Trump wants to declare Antifa a domestic terror organization. He did that in an executive order. Your thoughts on what's going on here, Ben?
One, he should. Two, you got to follow the money now. And I think that's the biggest problem we have, is that there is someone behind this, or groups behind this, financiers behind this, and it's infected our university systems. And I also go back to what we witnessed even when the Jewish students were being attacked on college campuses, and we had the big three universities go before Washington, D.C., and they really were not compassionate. This is a cancer on college campuses, and they've allowed this to fester, and they have to stop it. You've got to get these kids out that are doing this, and those that are involved financially backing it. And I think the Trump administration understands right now there's a real rush and urgency to finding out who's doing it and helping save people's lives. I was at Charlie's funeral, and it was maybe one of the most morbid conversations throughout that day I've ever had. Everyone that does this in the conservative world is saying, hey, be safe. Hey, be safe. I had people that were hugging me that I've never hugged in my life that I've worked with, and it was all about safety, because there is a real fear right now that this is something that's become normalized.
So, you know, this question of what is happening out there, Kash Patel was asked about it in the hearing, Megan, and he was asked point blank, do you think there are foreign entities or involvement in this? This does create chaos in the United States. And because we know the possibility of algorithms and infiltrating, just putting suggestions out there for people online could very well be coming from one of our adversaries. Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hate sells. It used to be sex sells. Now it's hate sells. The one thing, though, about Donald Trump making Antifa a terrorist organization is Antifa is an ideology. It's not an organized organization. And that makes me anxious, because then am I now Antifa because I disagree with him? Is somebody else who disagrees Antifa? And I think that we need to be very careful, because I'm not prescribed to violence. I am not preaching on violence. And I think we need to be careful when we prescribe an ideology as a terrorist organization and not an actual organization. And the other thing, it's not just conversations in your circles about people being safe. I get death threats. I'm sure you do as well. Everyone is nervous. Everyone is scared. You don't know who is lurking on your computer and your phone.
As they should be. And you know, everyone protects speech in this country. And I think you make 100%. An important point. It's very important. Charlie said, you know, there's no such thing as hate speech. There's only free speech in America. However, when you cross the line and you get into violence and you talk about this assassination culture that is happening online, listen to what Andy Ngo said about something really chilling: assassination culture online.
The picture that's emerged of the assassin suspect is one who was perpetually online a lot. A lot of people were surprised, for example, that there was such open celebration in large segments of the left after the murder. I wasn't surprised. The left and the mainstream left has been inching towards a culture of assassination.
It's really frightening, and we have to go, but it goes to the point that you both made about people feeling very unsafe out there, and soft targets are what we are seeing being hit in almost all of these situations, maybe not at the ICE facility. That was a little bit hardened, but it's very chilling time. And especially when you see these flyers at Georgetown, you got to wonder what's going on in some people's heads. Thank you very much, Megyn Hayes and Ferguson. Great to see you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.